Hi Gearshifters, welcome back. Today I am going to be doing something really exciting to my motorcycle. I have a special guest that has come to help me. So I want to introduce you to my friend Wade. He is going to help me get some lights installed on my bike. We're going to be putting on LEDs to light up underneath my bike. Start by removing the seat. This I want to remove while we have it off too. So this is some sort of safety contraption to hold the seat on that's already screwed in and that you're sitting on, but it makes it very, very difficult to put the seat back on. So I'm actually going to take this off while we have the seat off. How long is this bolt? All right.
And there it is.
Go. Yay, freedom. Get to my battery, I'm going to have to remove this cover, and then there's one on the other side. So we're going to do that so that we can get in, because the lights have to be wired directly to the battery. So where are we putting it?
Right here's one battery terminal.
Okay. So if I needed to jumpstart my battery, that's where I would do it?
Yes. And then on the other side, we'll be able to see the other battery terminal. It's got a rubber grommet on the front side.
I got the bottom loose.
Yeah, sometimes they can be pretty tight.
Catching it. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle.
Okay, from here.
I'm looking for the battery.
Yeah, and it's hidden from here. The shock right here is what makes everything so tough on doing this on the soft tails. So now with the cover off, this piece has to come out. And then these wire retainers here have to get loosened so we can get the wire bundles out of the way. But they will come out. They just take some finesse and pull most of the time. If you've got some pliers, sometimes you can get in behind them if they're being that finicky. It's just about to come out. It's being tough.
He's coming out.
Yeah, it's coming out. Slowly, little by little. Oh, well, there most of it came out.
Yeah, we need some pliers.
Yeah. Well,
Maybe it's not enough. Maybe we have to go to our auto parts store.
yeah. You just take the wire and it runs in the middle of this, in there, and then it wraps around. And then you use a bolt or a screw to clamp it together.
And then we won't have to worry about it breaking again.
Don't have to worry about plastic again. There's this wire bundle out of the way, and then the ABS connector is right here, and it's just got a little push tab right here, and push it in, and then that connector comes out right there, and then just move these to the right about as far as you can, because they'll want to come back. And then this connector, we have to get these wires out of the way to get the battery caddy out of the way. And they don't give you much wire to play with to get these out of the way.
Rocky wants to help.
So once you get one, then you've got enough wire to come around, and it'll just slide out there, and that connector slides out, and you can go in right behind the frame and pull this out of the way. And then this clip just folds down like that. We're gonna have to go in and take the battery cables loose because they go around this plastic battery caddy, as they call it here, and they have to be loose to be able to get this out, to get the battery out.
Move this, and this is the actual terminal that I'm unscrewing?
Yes.
All right, so do I have to unscrew the other one?
No, not yet, because that caddy actually has a little cover over top of the positive terminal.
Okay.
And it's got two tabs, if we can see them here, right back here in the back where it sits down.
Right there?
Because it'll have to lift up and then slide out.
Damn, Harley, why did you do this so hard? Like, I literally just, so it feels like it's out. It's definitely up.
And there's a whole bunch of wires back in there.
See it.
The other terminal is straight down here, but there's a piece of this caddy that goes over and goes over top of it, over top of the screw. This flathead right here, and clip that out. There, it popped up.
Ah.
And they just cram everything in there. There we go.
Yay!
Now, what else is it got on here? There we go.
Woohoo!
That goes in right here that you can just barely see
Wow.
on the front side of it.
And so this is the battery.
Before we disconnect the positive terminal,
We need to remove the master fuse.
yes, underneath the left side cover, this big box right here, and it's got a little clip here, and then it also has a clip on the back side of it, and it's kind of stiff. Once you get it started, grab this bundle, here we go,
Awesome.
and that pops off. This is your master fuse, so pop it out.
What did removing the master fuse do?
It stopped basically power transfer to the ECM, so that way whenever you disconnect it, if something was to spark, it doesn't fry your ECM.
What's an ECM?
Engine control module.
Awesome, thank you.
Yep. The ground here, so we don't have to go to both sides of the battery. We can go from the positive here, and then we can just loosen one of these here and attach the ground wire to this.
That's nice of them to do something easier.
Yeah. Some people might do a solder connection instead of a crimp, or they might decide to use a different type of terminal, a ring instead of a slot. Either one works fine as long as you get the screw tight on the battery terminal. And then if you ever wanted to take it loose, you don't have to take the bolt all the way out. You can just loosen it and then it would slide right off. And that has those connections done, and the next thing is go connect it to the battery. You'll need the Phillips screwdriver. Be careful when you're doing this, because even though we've got the master fuse out, the battery still has power, just in case, because you don't want to touch metal to metal, because it will spark. And now that we've got that loose, we can fit our hands down in here. You just have to bring the screw out a little bit further, just so you got enough room, especially if you've already got accessories already wired up on the bike. Of course, you're gonna have more wire that's there and have to move some things out of the way. And there, that's underneath there. So now we can go through and tighten this back up. And just make sure it's German torque spec of good and tight. And then from here, we've got enough room to where we should be able to get this up through here. And that box is going to be a little bit tight, but this is your fuse for your lights, so you can disconnect that wire and then feed the wire through, and then you can put it back together. And now we still have to put the little cover back on before we put these wiring back down, so that way we have room for it. That clip on. Okay, there's that, and then this little metal clip, and it's gonna be stiff, and it snaps there, and there's the battery caddy back together.
So I've got to attach this into here.
Yes, and it'll
actually,
yeah, you'll want to run the wires first, just because of how tight that wiring harness is.
So is that a good, because it's attached here.
Yeah, and then this one comes back around this clip back here in the back.
Nice. What was that?
Dried up piece of electrical tape.
All right. So that's attached. Now I have brakes again. We are upgrading this clip. So getting rid of that plastic that wasn't working. And we are going to use a screw, a stainless steel screw.
Just if I can get enough pressure to collapse the metal on it, plus keep it going.
Do we run the lights before we put the fuse back in?
Yes.
Now we're going to plug up the lights to make sure that they actually light before we attach them permanently to the bike.
And these connectors will only hook up one way. Here are all the lights hooked up. Now we just have to reconnect the negative battery terminal and the master fuse, and then we can test them.
Awesome. Now we're gonna put in the ground wire. That's 10 millimeter.
Yes, this one is 10 millimeter. And then we'll hook the ground right to here. And then just tighten it back down.
So is there a reason that we chose to put it in that direction, down versus up?
It doesn't really matter, but with the connector coming out, that way it's not up and it's not going to be hitting against your seat, because all this wiring is going to go over this way as well. So it's going to be right there and have less bending on the connector, and that way just the seat doesn't hit it and break the wire. We put the main fuse back in.
Okay. So we need our screwdriver for that. Goes right, that's what I'm attaching.
Yes, that's your negative battery cable.
We haven't put the fuse in yet. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited.
You can see the glow over here.
Yeah, this is gonna be awesome.
And when you disconnect and connect a battery, you always want to disconnect by negative first and connect by negative last. There's a less chance of arcing that way.
Okay.
Get it snug.
It's snug.
All there is to that.
That's awesome. Look at the lights, they're working. Awesome.
And we have light on every one of them.
We have light on every one of them. They can flash. And then you can change the colors too. Ooh. Oh, this is gonna be awesome. And since they're LED, they're not pulling a lot of power.
No, LEDs pull very little power. We'll turn them off because we'll actually disconnect everything before we actually go to putting them on, so that way we can route the wires better.
So now, gotta figure out how to turn them off. Like most motorcycle parts, this did not come with instructions. It came with a box and all the pieces and no instructions. What's your best guess on how it turns off?
Let's see here.
How'd you do it?
The D button was a double click. Hmm?
Am I doing it the right way?
Yep. They're gonna be tight, especially if they've never been off before.
I got it. I got it. Putting my back into it. I don't have it. I have it. No.
There it started.
Yes! I did that. I did it. I did that. Is it in there?
Oh yeah, the nuts.
Okay,
The
so
nut
it's-
is inside the socket. So.
That's the way it's done, boys and girls. Double wrenching action.
It's loose enough there. Get the washer so it doesn't fall out.
And now this one will come out.
It should come out easier because you can kind of wiggle the tank. You should be able to wiggle the tank just a little bit.
Yeah, oh no, it comes out really easy now. Rocket wants to help.
Above the ignition coil on these. And it's got a quick connect fitting that we'll want to disconnect before we lift the tank because it doesn't have very long of a fuel hose, so you don't have very much room to move it.
So what is that?
This is actually a fuel pressure test port here on the end, and then this silver piece, it'll actually move up and down, and that's what where the lock is in that silver piece to connect it to the tank. And again, Harley doesn't give you very much room. I cannot get to it to disconnect it. That silver piece there,
I just pull it down?
it actually goes up.
Goes up. It's hard to see.
Yeah.
This piece?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, it's frozen on there.
Okay, that kind of got it unfroze. So,
That is what connects the tank to the bike,
yes.
along with those bolts, obviously, that secure it, but that's actually where the line goes in.
Yep, this is your gas line.
So when we pull it, is it gonna have like a valve that shuts so gas doesn't leak, or do we need towels?
There's a valve right in here.
Okay.
And I don't want to get too aggressive with it and damage something, but just try to pull straight down. And there it is. Because it is a metal fitting, so it's not going to break, but you can see that ring there is where there's a detemp ball up inside here that's what locks, where it locks into. Tank is disconnected.
All right, I've got it.
And then that piece should just pull up just like that. Got to get around. And then once we get the tank up, we won't take it completely off, but we'll go through and put the lights in here, but here we can actually get to them, so we can actually make sure we get good pressure on them to where they actually stick.
So for those of you wanting to install your lights on your bike, this is what's involved. It's a lot, but it's gonna be totally worth it.
Put a pivot so that way it doesn't come up and try to slide.
There we go.
Hold the tank up
Okay.
if you want to get your cleaner, because
Yeah.
and get the underside of the tank.
Yep. And so we're gonna have to actually warm up the bottom of the tank.
Yep.
Do I want it on the outside or the inside of the ridge?
Probably just on the outside.
All right, so I haven't used this before. Go to the high.
Yeah.
Do not try this at home.
Because I've already got the red off of
I
it.
think so. Try this.
And then when you put it on, just stick it up and hold it.
Warning, do not try this at home. Should only be attempted by trained professionals. And the reason that I'm heating up the tank is because the tank is cold. I mean, outside right now it is below freezing, and the garage is not climate controlled. That worked. Now I'm wondering, when it does get hot, is this gonna melt and wanna fall off it?
No.
This front part is still. It's because it's got that end cap, it doesn't hit flush. Ha ha ha! Yay! This is cool. Great. Where are we gonna do it next?
Next, we'll come back and we'll go back underneath here to where that way it gives you light out the back and down. Yep, about right there.
I'm so happy. Ah, this is awesome. This is gonna be super cool. This right here, that's gonna be cool. And I do think these little ones could fit there. Do I have enough room to route the wire again? Because I do have room for that. That way it'll light up that bag.
Yeah.
All right.
Right.
That's gonna be nice. That's definitely gonna make it much safer. But this isn't like, oh, because it's not plugged in. Yeah, that's gonna be huge. I mean, that's a huge difference already. Awesome. Awesome, awesome. All right, now let me take this off. Want the wire facing towards the battery for obvious reasons. Yeah. This is so exciting. this wire to also run it through here. So you're trying to negotiate where we're gonna hide it?
Yeah, because trying to keep away from getting inside of these coils, because if you hit a hard bump or something like that and the swing arm comes up and you don't want to pinch the wires inside in between the coils.
Gotcha, yeah, that would not be a good thing. So what about this space right here?
If something was to fall down in here, right here is your drive belt.
Okay.
Down in here, so
yeah,
if it got tangled up in there, and then it's gonna start ripping stuff apart. And they don't give you any room.
So the issue that we have right now is we're trying to figure out the best place to be able to secure this nest of wires, because it's a lot. And under here, there's not much room. We need to avoid these springs because this is the shocks, right?
Yes.
This is the internal shock. So we need to avoid this. The seat mounts directly on here. So there's really not a lot of room like in a big touring bike. But I think that we found a spot where we can put it. We're gonna just kind of nest it in here. The side cover will go over and cover it. So that's what we're gonna try. We're gonna have to tie all these wires back to keep it out of the way and keep it safe from hitting anything. But I think that's our plan.
To go to give it the cleanest look, so you don't have just a wire hanging out there.
Got lots of zip ties.
The other one, let me see, one zip tied up now. And another trick, don't absolutely tighten your zip ties until you are sure your wires are where they need to be. Because it never fails. You tie it up and then you think, oh, well, I need to stretch or loosen that wire. And then you have to cut the zip tie.
Yeah, and if it's tight, it's not easy.
No.
One down. And the most important thing is that we don't just shove all these wires in, right? We need to make sure they're secure.
Yeah, and you don't want to just wad them up and bend them and kink them, because that can cause a broken wire. Certified zip tie mechanics. And now we'll come around and start actually connecting some more of these. That's got all the lights connected.
All right. Man, that looks awesome. That's cool. Very cool. Yeah, that's definitely gonna help for sure. Game changer.
And there's that end.
So So does it snap into this little hole right there? Does that piece go in there?
Yeah.
Do we have to zip tie any of this? Because this is hanging down. See how it's...
Yeah, I'm gonna zip tie it here to this other wire right here. Ready for the side cover over here.
So this is the battery, and all of these wires are wrapped. The ones that are just here, I mean, nothing's really hanging. This piece, this one.
I can zip tie these together right here. Round it.
This is awesome. Absolutely not easy at all, but very, very, very awesome. Now this piece right here,
It can kind of fit right there. And
Once
it
the
should
cover-
be held in by the cover.
okay. And then we'll put this, so that's actually gonna go like that, right?
Yep.
So do we need to attach the tank before we put on the sides and do the fuel?
Yeah, we can
Line.
go ahead and do that. Shouldn't.
It's on.
Just pushing it in.
That's attached again. This is feeling dangerously close to being finished on the lights. So on a scale of 1 to 10, I would say I would give this a 9 for difficulty. This was not easy. And I cannot thank you enough, Wade, for coming and helping me. It's in there. Yay. All right, now let me put it on the other side. So it's got 2 spots where there are rubber plugs where I have to kind of shove it in. But then I also need to make sure that we put all this electrical stuff back in here. So do I need to zip tie this to something?
It was actually just sitting in here just like that.
Okay.
Whenever I went to take the main fuse out.
Oh, Harley engineers, why do you do this? Why do you make it so hard?
Out above that, didn't it?
Yeah, it was like up here. Yeah. Yep. That's exactly. Yep.
Once it gets started, there's no problem.
You make it look so easy.
And there's that.
There. All right. Yeah, all right, the bike still works, yay. All right, look at that. I love it.
Now that we have the Nilight motorcycle LED light kit installed, I can play around with it and figure out which color I like best and also which setting. Special thanks again to my friend Wade and his dog Rocket. I could not have done this without them. If you enjoyed this video, let me know. Hit the like button, leave a comment, and be sure to subscribe so you'll be notified each time I release a new video. I believe in gear shifting gratitude and I'm here to share it with you.